doctors don't understand the spend on their office, refuse to spend on expanding an office, even though the opportunity in dentistry's never been better.
No offense, accountants. I love you. And I know many of you, but like...
But that's exactly what he said. It's like, do less, because dentistry's so horribly difficult to do.
Right.
It's like, no, actually, dentistry's like super easy to do the way we do it, and I want to do more of it.
I know when I'm in your practice. Instantaneously. Right? I know from the bottom lines. I know from the way it's configured. Walking in the door, I'm like, he's been here. Yeah. He's been here. So you have a stamp. And the stamp is not only in the efficiency that I'm walking through the practice, but in the bottom line.
So Cory Schoebel from chrisad is here to visit with us again. We're meeting in the design office, which is kind of cool space that I tend to. Anytime I have an excuse to hang in this part of the facility is a great day, because this is really where the people that I gravitate to most.
Well, and thanks for the tour of the factory and the ability to meet all the designers, and I mean, a lot of cool stuff going on.
There's cool stuff going on.
There's cool stuff
going on, and you know, more new stuff happening every week.
Yeah, from the last time I was here, there's a lot of new stuff going on.
And so I had a business consultant come in, and who I've known for years, and he said, you know, you should spend less on R&D because it'll make you look more profitable, and that'll be good for the business.
Are you going to sell the business or something?
Yeah, no.
Okay,
actually,
all right.
So no, I'm not. And B, so that would look better on the books for what the accountant would be happy.
The accountant,
I don't give a shit about
the accountant.
Okay, I don't care. So I said, so you know what I'm going to do next year?
Double down on R&D.
Spend more on R&D. Okay.
Wise decision.
Like some of these bad boys are going out the door. There's some amazing stuff, and some doctors are going to get back to us going like, you doubled my productivity in that procedure or whatever because of that. Okay, that's the total agenda. So, if somebody like wants to know the secret business plan here, that's
the sauce is out.
So yeah, the sauce is out.
Okay, all right.
So I thought today that we should talk about something that dentists really don't get, which is facilities cost in general.
Yes.
And so we're usually, historically, both of us are like, don't blow the money on stupid things.
Correct.
Which dentists blow the money on stupid things.
Things that, by that being people that don't understand what you're blowing the money on.
Right.
Your consumers.
Yeah.
Your consumers need to know where you're spending the money is going to benefit them.
Right. Yeah. What's in it for them?
What's in it for me?
Not in it for
always.
you. Right?
Always what's in it for me as the consumer.
So the fact is, there are some things that are very important for the doctor, but they better be obviously relevant to the patient as well. And so what we see often is that doctors don't understand the spend on their office, refuse to spend on expanding an office, even though the opportunity in dentistry's never been better. Refuse to, don't like the fact that construction costs are higher than they were.
Yeah. Everything's higher than it was.
Everything's higher. And as a result are missing these opportunities to go ahead and grow in places where, we just had a dentist, but we built him an 11 chair 8 years ago. And at that time, he was in a place that looked like a pretty good place to go, and he was coming out of a 5 chair, and he went like, I'll never need more than 11 chairs. Well, he's back to us because he went from 70 to 170 new patients a month. And he kind of needs to go ahead and have at least twice as many chairs.
I promise you, Dave, there's not a single client we have that's ever said, I built the perfect amount of chairs. They always underestimate how quickly it fills. Or how desirous the marketplace will be of their place now.
There are dentists that do overbuild, but what they really did was they underplanned for how to go ahead and fill it.
Yeah, you're right.
And so they were unwilling to spend some money to actually communicate with the marketplace, or actually do things that might be customer-centric about availability.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty conservative. I mean, my clients, anyways, they're fairly conservative, thoughtful, conscientious. They don't want to overspend this, that. So, I should go to 10 chairs? It's like, no, you should go to 14. Should I go to 8? No, you should go to 12. It's like, I always add, I pretty much am always adding 50% more.
And the math's right there. And so the reason we don't is we're so afraid of the cost of the facility.
Can I fill it?
Yeah, can I fill it? Yeah, can I fill it?
And will I make my money back?
So the question is, what's the cost of the opportunity lost in creating a bigger opportunity than you had, which we never see become a problem,
sure,
versus the lost opportunity cost of constraining yourself for the next 20 years. And so I hadn't done a good job.
Quantifiable versus unquantifiable.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I had done a lousy job of really articulating that. And so I just sat down to do some math. And
I think you're pretty good
at
math.
So a 10-chair dental facility these days, the industry average is 500 square feet per treatment room averaged out. So a 10-chair office would be 5,000 square feet. We do them commonly at about 3,300 square feet because of more efficient packaging. So let's use the number 3,300 square feet. If you do a tenant improvement, so you go ahead and lease a facility because you can't find something to buy. We'll talk about that later. That's going to be somewhere at $250 a foot to do improvement on that, which is an annoying number. Can be less in many places and can be more in other places. But the cost of that's going to be about $825,000. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It's close to $1 million to go ahead and make the improvement to get that.
It's a lot of money until you consider how lucrative dentistry is. Then it's not a lot of money, to be honest. So, I mean, not to steal your thunder, but I'm just telling you.
That's the question. So
you're generating $30,000 a day.
What's it produce? Right. What does the thing produce for that ability? And that somehow gets lost in the fear of the spend.
That's correct.
And the commitment to a place for a period of time. But a 10-chair office, like if a 10-chair office doesn't produce $300,000 a month,
it's underperforming.
Like you screwed up.
Yeah.
Like you need to go ahead and talk to Cory.
Yeah, please call me.
You
it's
need to go ahead
underperforming.
and figure out how to connect better with clients. There's something you need to do to go ahead and improve that business. That's a normal amount. Now, that isn't a typical amount in the average dental practice because the average dental practice performs badly.
I think so. From the calls that I get, there's a lot of room for growth.
Dental practice performs badly. And part of that is because there's a disconnect in how we get dentistry delivered, which has been like basically my whole life spent on that.
That's correct.
Like being annoyed by that. Having done it myself as a professor of dentistry at the University of Michigan, for example.
Go Blue.
Go Blue, Go Blue. Sorry about the signal stealing thing. I don't.
Everybody does it.
Whatever. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So we'll stay out of that for Ohio State folks. Like, we're sorry. But so given that, the question then becomes what's the percentage if you spend so if you spend $7,000 a month, which is what your payment costs, your amortization
over your 825,
over the 825, you're going to spend about $7,000 on that. Now, if you own, you're going to go ahead and have to spend to go ahead and buy the land and develop the land and go ahead and create that. That's going to cost you another $7,000 or $8,000 in most marketplaces. So you're talking $15,000. If you rent, the landlord's got to get paid that for the shell and all the infrastructure the landlord put in. That's about
the same, right?
$7,000. About the same.
$15,000.
So you're talking about $15,000 for that capacity that doesn't include equipment. So the question then becomes, what we see oftentimes is the dentist gets to that point, and it's like the landscaping on the house. They spent the money on the house, and now there's like, okay, so, and because we don't, like in dentistry, most of the dental equipment you've encountered, like it's all the same. It doesn't really matter in terms of the productivity. I mean,
we've talked about it for a long time
or Dancero. I mean, it's like, I hope those two companies don't get mad at me, but the fact of the matter is, like, the patient doesn't really understand the comfort difference. And they both go back and forth.
Correct, because they're in it about 1 hour a year on average, 2 hours a year.
If that's all they do, like that's not where performance difference changes unless you can do some other special things with that.
Which is why I'm talking to you, because you can.
That's a whole other issue. But the delivery of dentistry, the rest of the room, super critical. Lighting,
Right.
super critical.
Right.
Like delivery positioning, super critical. Flexibility, room turnaround, like those things are really important.
I mean,
and so
can I tell you something?
Sure,
When I go into
absolutely.
dental practices, and I go into, I don't know, a bunch of them every day, I know when I'm in your practice. Instantaneously. I know from the bottom lines. I know from the way it's configured. I know from the like just the walking in the door. I'm like, oh, he's been here.
Yeah.
He's been here. So
Pretty funny. Yeah, and it's just
you have a stamp.
and-
And the stamp is not only in the efficiency that I'm walking through the practice, but in the bottom line. Like I can tell.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff you're speaking to me about,
Yeah.
it's over my
Yeah.
head. Delivery units and all that stuff.
Yeah, it
but
doesn't- yeah, but you
I
see the
know
results.
the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
important thing. I
And
can see the bottom line,
Yeah.
which to
Yeah.
me is all that
And-
kind of matters
well,
in my line of
well,
work.
it's
Yeah.
it's what makes all the other things possible for the dentist, for the staff, and for the patients too,
Yeah.
and for the community of those folks. And again, that's why we got involved in this. But here's the equipment, the ridiculous part of the equipment equation. So now you spent $800,000 or $900,000 on tenant improvement, or you spent $1.5 million plus on owning
on
this
your land and your
facility.
building, yeah.
And so now you've got to buy equipment.
Right.
The cheapest room you can buy that'll do the things that basically get dentistry done to do a filling, $15,000 a room.
Yes.
And that's pretty cheap. Could you buy something a little less? Probably. Typical room in dentistry, the most common room in dentistry is about $50,000.
50? 50?
Yeah. Okay, so the problem
Yeah,
is,
'cause, I mean, I'll tell you,
Yeah.
when these guys talk to me about expansion, they don't tend to go for the cheapest. I'll be honest.
yeah, they don't. No, they don't. Yeah.
More often than not, they tend to migrate to
Yeah,
the
up,
to
yeah,
the highest,
yeah.
and then the dumb guy like me is like,
it's
well, why?
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 So that's
What's
the,
this gonna
that's the
do
weird
for
What
you?
is it going to
Yeah.
do? What specifically is it going to do? Like, guess what the patients don't care about? The cabinets.
Yeah, true.
They could care less
true.
about. They don't walk in and go like.
It's never
if
tested high on the old research.
Anybody, right? Anyway, like patient walked in going, ooh.
Tell like all my friends.
I
you
don't
have the
know
best
how I read
cabinets
your
in town.
cabinets. Let me look in the drawers, like so organized, okay? And so the fact of the matter is, not only are they not impressed, most of them get in the way of actually being productive. So if you study productivity, that the cost of that thing, which is sometimes like $15,000 for the cabinet, actually costs you 10 or 15% in productivity.
Right.
So, like if you took it out, you would make more money. So you spent the money and you lost the money.
Correct.
That's like really
And
pathetic.
that cabinet,
So-
because it has the word dental in front of it, which we've
was
talked about,
way
is
more
somehow
expensive, yeah. And
worth
so-
exponentially more.
Well, and so some dentists are smart. It's like, I'll get a cabinet guy to make the
Oh,
cabinet.
God, I've seen that all day long, yeah.
Okay. That assumed that the cabinet needed to be there
that's
in the
correct,
first place.
that the
which it
cabinet was
didn't,
a necessary
okay?
component,
We just
yeah.
assumed that because a dental company made it, it magically needed to be made,
correct.
and it doesn't even need that.
That's correct.
And so when you eliminate all that, you can make a phenomenally productive room for around $30,000. Well, you already had to spend 15.
Yeah.
So the delta on that 10-chair office is $150,000 to go from really not productive rooms that are going to grind you down over the years.
Yep.
And so we hear a lot about like not having to be at the chair.
Yep.
Okay, I'm good with that. I got removed from the chair because I needed to be here all the time.
Correct.
Guess what
Yeah.
the easiest job I ever had was?
Probably being the dentist.
Being the
They all
dentist,
say that.
okay? Being the
They all
dentist
say
is
that,
the
yeah.
easiest job. And so the reality is if you can make that super easy by making the equipment actually work, like you want to run in a running shoe or you want to run in a loafer.
Right.
Like, so the $15,000 room is a loafer to run in. And $30,000, you can actually get like a high performance
Yeah.
sneaker that actually probably you'll be healthier.
Shock
when you're done.
absorption.
Yeah,
No, it's
you
got
get
it all.
like stuff.
It's
Okay?
got it all, yeah.
So the delta of $150,000, what's $15,000 like divided by 150? It's kind of a small percentage of the
Yes,
total
let's
cost.
just go small.
Let's go small. It's kind of 10% of the cost, okay? So the cost of spending this much more to get twice the performance in
Yeah.
the room is trivial. But that isn't even the important part. The important part is that the percentage of, so you spent 15,000, call it a month, call it, because the amortization on the equipment is much quicker, 5 years versus 20 years, you're going to spend, call it $20,000 a month in your payments for that high performance office.
And again,
out
that
of
office is
300,000. It's generating 300 plus.
300 plus.
So what's $20,000 into $300,000?
7.5%.
It's 7%. It's 7%. Okay. So the cost of running a dental office is called people.
People. Good old people.
People are what costs the dental office. First of all, they're a variable cost in reality because you only hire as many as you need. If you are highly productive, you can pay them really well. And so you
if they are highly productive, they get paid really well.
They're highly productive.
Because they're
they
tiered
get
and their
paid
compensation
really well,
increases.
Exactly, because you know how to create that compensation. And so when you do that, the facility and the equipment is noise compared to the rest of the cost.
Very small. Very small.
And the focus needs to be on whatever it takes to make the people be great. But in any case, you can see how easy it is if you take the emotional component out of this and just focus on what does the customer want, where do I need to site this thing so that I can have however many patients I ever need, be there, and just go there. I mean, the doctor that I just mentioned, from 70 to 170 new patients. Yeah, he just happened to go ahead and make the right choice, smart choice of where to go, spent more than he wanted to on the land, and now has a facility that is an endowment.
That's correct.
An
endowment. I think that's a great word,
You know, forever, whether he's in the chair or not in the chair.
That's I mean, ultimately, that's our goal. That's why we're, that's where we met talking about that 20 years ago, and that's what I talk to clients about.
Life is to make it a choice.
Make it a choice,
and to have it so there's nothing else that competes. People, a lot of people, because I don't need to work, a lot of people look at me funny like you don't have anything better to do? I mean, I just was like touring Europe on a river cruise, and it was
fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was
but
nice.
you missed work.
It wasn't as good as this. It was okay. There was some better pastry. I mean, there were better pastry in Austria, and like Germany has better pastry.
But there's a purpose.
Than we have.
Your purpose is not to float down the Rhine River.
Yeah, their purpose is not that. and this is way more fun. I get to hang out with better people. The people on the boat were okay. People in this building, way better.
Well, yeah, and I think it's fun to kind of make change in this industry, and that's that's what we both tried to do for a long time. Is how do you make it better? How do you make it different? How do you improve the bottom lines of these hundreds, thousands of dentists out there?
So hopefully, this will help some folks feel a little better about the spend that you have to make. There's no way around. I mean, there is a way.
You know what we have to do?
You can have a 4-chair and work 70 hours a week.
We have to excise the accountant from this conversation.
Yeah, the accountant's always got. No, it's absolutely
the accountant always vetoes this conversation.
I had the most productive practice in the area 20 years ago, and went to my accountant, who was a dental accountant.
Dental only. Yeah,
dental only accountant.
Best
and said,
of the best.
what do you think I should do next? He said, well, definitely don't do that company that's making the equipment. Okay?
We should consolidate hours and cut labor.
And you should go ahead and work less.
Drop all of our
office
insurances. No offense, accountants. I love you. And I know many of you, but like.
But that's exactly what he said. Like, do less, because dentistry is so horribly difficult to do. It's like, no, actually, dentistry is like super easy to do the way we do it, and I want to do more of it. It was like, the guy was horrified. It was not reconcilable.
There's the accountant's advice is great for somebody that wants to stay clinical. More often than not. But our business model is how do we get the clinician out of the chair and become the business manager?
Business manager to grow the enterprise.
Correct.
Yeah. And
so
man. It's the accountants. Well, the accountant
but for all the people listening, please balance the accountant with this is sound good advice. I see it. Yeah. Obviously, you see it. You design it.
Have an entrepreneurial accountant, which is an oxymoron. I know it's like totally oxymoron.
I met one once.
Once, I met one. Yeah, I don't know how he became an accountant, but Anyway, so, I'd like to thank Dunkin' Donuts again.
Oh yeah, thank you. Cheers,
Corey. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
And dropping in and enjoying, spending a little bit of time.
Beautiful spot. Beautiful spot.
That's great. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.